An extremely common question I get as a psychotherapist is, what do you do if you are in a situation where you're experiencing abuse, and how do you seek help? As a child who grew up in an abusive environment, that was something that was important to me. Like I needed to know how to keep myself safe. I needed to know, what do I do in this circumstance if I feel unsafe, and is there someone I can talk to? Now, this was of course in the 90s, and therapy wasn't thought about in the 90s in the way that it is now. And as children, I didn't have the resources to know that, like, there are entire organizations dedicated to making sure I could be safe and I could be in an environment where I was safe. I didn't know that. Like, I know this might sound crazy, but in the 90s, you thought your parents could do anything that they wanted to do. But now, thankfully, that has changed. And we know people are just more aware. Even the children who are experiencing abuse, certainly people in romantic relationships that are experiencing intimate partner violence, or better known as domestic violence. But you might get to a place where you want to seek help. You don't find it safe to talk to people about that help. How do you do that? Well, we're going to talk about that today. So welcome back to the Aha Moments, where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work as a psychotherapist and in my life to inspire you to live your very best life. Of course, I'm your host, Elliott Connie. I've talked often about, like, there was no safe space for me to be in. My father was so good at manipulating. He would go to the school, and my teachers, like, they must have known. They must have known. Now that I'm a psychotherapist and I know all the signs and symptoms, I was doing all of the signs. I was demonstrating all of the symptoms of a kid who was living in an unsafe house. All of them. They must have known. They must have seen it. I have to imagine they knew and they saw it. And my dad, every now and then, he'd have like a parent-teacher conference, and I'd come to school, and they would say, "Man, your father really cares about your education. You're lucky to have a father like that." Like, they would say that kind of stuff. And I would feel so devastated because I wanted to say, but my home life is unsafe. I wanted to say, but, like, something's going on in my house that makes it hard for me to function in a proper way. Can you help me? Like, I wanted to be able to say that, and I couldn't because they just believed the, craziness that my father was able to spew. But what I want people to know is it is okay to seek therapy, because your therapist's primary job isn't to punish the perpetrator of domestic violence. Your therapist's primary job is to help you get into a safe space. And when the therapist does that job, you are immediately going to be taken to someplace safe and sustained. Like, they're going to try to get you into someplace safe, and then they're going to try to make sure you stay safe from that point forward. And you cannot heal from what has happened unless you are safe. There's this thing called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which basically says if the basic needs of life are not taken care of, you can't take care of the higher functioning needs, right? So you can't be the mom or dad you want to be while you're being subjected to abuse. You have to address that stuff first so you can be the mom or dad you want to be, or you can be the person you want to be at work, or whatever the higher role is. For me, when I was struggling so much as a child, I couldn't focus on my grades or make sure I had good grades, because that's a higher level of functioning, and I was really, down in the doldrum, really struggling. So if you are a young person and you're experiencing domestic violence in your home, or if you are an older person and you're experiencing intimate partner violence, seek help. Contact a local psychotherapist. If you are a young person at school and you're experiencing domestic violence in your home, find someone at school that you can talk to about what you are going through. You deserve to have happiness, health, and healing. You deserve to be in a safe environment. Your professional is trained and able to get you in a safe environment. And if you see a professional and you don't think they're doing a good job of doing that, then stop seeing that professional and go see another professional. Because it doesn't mean that therapy isn't working. It just means that that therapist isn't trained and properly handling your situation. But keep going until you find someone that will help you, and then your life will be forever different. You deserve that kind of healing. Thanks for being here. If you wouldn't mind doing me a super huge favor, I would love it if you would share this podcast with at least one person in your life that you think could benefit from hearing this message today. And also don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen to your podcast. And also follow me on all of the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky. You can search for my name, Elliott Connie, or at Elliott Speaks. That's my handle across all platforms. Can't wait to see you tomorrow.